So you've come. And alone, even. I hope to earn that mark of respect.
Why call me out here, Murga?
We had many names once. Then the Earth Dragons came and took those names away from us. We were their brothers and sisters of the sea, and given just one name. Water Dragon. We were to be redeemed and remade in order to accomplish a necessary duty. I suppose it was in our favor that we were the most biologically compatible species on this planet. Out of our union was conceived a child, Bakunawa. And once she was born, well, they'd taken our names already. What else could they have taken from us?
I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Hatchling, Sash Lilac, come with me.
What?
There is nothing left for us here. We can go and never return. Leave the Earth Dragons to their machinations and fly to a new world.
And what happens to this world?
Does it matter? I see. In that case...
What's this meant to be?
A clever ruse.
No! Not gonna...
I'm impressed. That should have rendered you unconscious immediately. Not to worry. You will have plenty of time to forgive me once I awaken Bakunawa.
Sneak attack!
Hold on, Lilac! This potion will fix you right up!
Guys, you came.
All right, giant fish lady, back off! Unless you want a face full of punches!
Indeed. Your schemes end here, Murga. Bakunawa will not rise this day.
What was that?
A redirection of the island's volcanic pressure to key fault lines. You may have disabled a few of our beacons, but not all.
Impossible. You needed Pengu. It was a vital component.
I'm no fool. It was installed well before your arrival.
No, we're too late.
Indeed. And that is why it is you who shall end here.
Welcome aboard Mary's luxurious sky fortress! Now with extra cannons! Hold on!
created, that brought death to so many of my people, will now be my
Gotta keep
salvation.
moving!
Bakunawa will rise to the sky and devour your moon, giving her the energy she needs to leave this solar system. And we will sail the stars while this world rots. This planet
Gotta
is
keep
yours!
moving.
Long may you reign vainglorious over a dead world! Majesty! The weapon that you Earth Dragons created, that brought death to so many of my people, will now be my salvation. Bakunawa will rise to the sky and devour you, giving her the energy she needs to leave this solar system. And we will sail the stars while this world rots. This planet is yours! Magister, the weapon that you Earth Dragons created, that brought death to so many of my people, will now be my salvation. Bakunawa will rise to the sky and devour your moon. Hear me, Magister! The weapon that you Earth Dragons created, that brought death to so many of my people, will now be my salvation. Bakunawa will rise to the sky and devour your moon, giving her the energy she needs to leave this solar system. And we will sail the stars while this world rots.
You won't win that
This
easy!
planet is yours! Long may you reign vainglorious over a dead world! Magister, the weapon that you Earth Dragons created, that brought death to so many of my people, will now be my salvation. Bakunawa will rise to the sky and devour your moon, giving her the energy she needs to leave this solar system.
I won't
And we will
lose!
sail the stars while this world rots. This planet is yours! Long may you reign vainglorious over a dead world!
Gotta keep moving!
The weapon that you Earth Dragons created, that brought death to so many of my people, will now be my salvation. Magister, the weapon that you Earth Dragons created, that brought death to so many of my people, will now be my salvation. Magister! The weapon that you Earth Dragons created, that brought death to so many of my people, will now be my salvation! Bakunawa will rise to the sky and devour your moon, giving her the energy she needs to leave this solar system. And we will sail the stars while this world... Hear me, Magister! The weapon that you Earth Dragons created, that brought death to so many of my people, will now be my salvation! Bakunawa will rise to the sky and devour your moon, giving her the energy she needs to leave this solar system. And we will sail the stars while this world rots. This planet is yours! Long may you reign vainglorious over a dead world!
There's no way we'd catch up with her now! She's flying too high and too fast!
This can't be happening.
I won't let it!
Lilac!
No!
Oh looks pretty undevoured.
What just happened?
The fool! She's clearly too far away for the mining laser to be effective. Unhand me at once! The cooperative General Serpentine is on your side, and he has a plan.
Let him go. We have an agreement. And you, talk.
It's simple. I have a small ship capable of chasing down the stolen weapon and evading any detection system she may have on board, which is more than I can say for your flying whale here.
Hey! Don't you listen to him, Merzal's luxurious sky fortress. He's just a mean, jealous reptile.
You will turn this vehicle over to us immediately, Snake. We will use it to take the fight to Murga.
Excuse me. First of all, it's my ship, so only I can pilot it. And second of all, no passengers. For the velocity I need to catch up to Bakunawa, I need the ship to be as light as possible.
So we are to put the fate of the world in your hands. I think not.
Maybe you could compensate for the additional weight somehow.
I suppose. But the calculations involved would be... Ah! Why even talk about it? I might have been able to do it with syntax, but without the drone, I'm just wasting my breath.
So that's it then. Murga really has won.
I'm going to talk to Serpentine.
Mila?
Don't worry. I can make him change his mind.
Never thought I'd see this place again. It's in pretty good shape.
Good work, General. It's good to be home.
Yeah, all things considered, this is the tidiest invasion ever. Wish all of our invaders were this neat.
Good news, everyone! Serpentine's agreed to take us with him!
Yes! Out of the goodness of my reptilian heart, I've decided that all 5 of us will stop the menace that is Murga.
Thanks, Serpentine. And great work, Mila. How did you manage to convince him?
Oh, I just made a promise. No biggie.
I hope you're all exactly as heavy as you look. Otherwise, this will be a short trip.
Rude assessment of our collective weight aside, I assume this interjection means we are ready to leave?
Weren't you listening to me before? I still need syntax for the vector calculations.
Then our course is clear. Track down Spade, beat him to within an inch of his life, and take syntax back from his broken fingers.
Sounds like a plan. We'll hold the fort down here. Before you go, though, Magister wants to see you girls. Something urgent, he says.
Yo, Magister, what's up?
Magister.
You summoned us, O Exalted One?
Thank you for coming. I wish to share the results of my research regarding Murga and the Water Dragon people. At first, what I found merely reaffirmed everything we already knew. That the Water Dragons turned violent. That Murga was their greatest warrior. That many Shangtusians died defending themselves from the Perusian scourge. Then I realized that the books I had read were all written by Earth Dragons and their descendants. I scoured the library for any book that could possibly recount history from a water dragon's perspective. I found it within a handwritten book of flowers and horticulture. There were various annotations by the author describing what was then to her current events. If what she wrote is true, then I'm so sorry, Lilac. Murga is right to be angry.
Magister.
I was hoping that, perhaps by speaking to her, I could persuade her from this course. Her grudge is against my people. The rest of the world need not suffer for our arrogance and conspiracy. But I suppose that hope is extinguished now.
No, I don't believe that.
Are you mad? She commands an aerial fortress capable of intergalactic flight and eating moons! The time to appeal to her better nature has long since passed.
Maybe I just don't want to be the last water dragon anymore, but I still want to try. The last centurion of a long-gone race? Isn't that someone worth talking to?
Someone of your own blood. Yeah, I get that.
Someone who may be afraid of being nothing more than a weapon.
Someone with the courage and discipline to do what is needed to be done. Very well. I suppose we can attempt to do the right thing. Should the situation arise.
Have I come at a bad time?
We acknowledge and welcome the King of Shuigang in the court of Shangtu.
Your Majesty! Hi!
King Dale, to what do we owe this unexpected pleasure?
Oh, this is just a casual state visit. I realized that we never properly thanked you for all your assistance in Shuigang. So I brought along this beautiful gift. And this wretched scoundrel of a brother.
Spade.
He busted me. I'm good.
My men have the syntax drone under guard outside. From what I've gathered, you will need it to take down this Bakunawa?
Magnificent! You four, finish your business here. Once I've installed syntax on my ship, I'll be leaving immediately, so don't be late.
Adversity makes for strange bedfellows, it seems.
Indeed. I must make a request. When you encounter Murga, allow me to speak with her. Your communicator can act as a relay between us. I wish to make amends.
All right.
Power sequence number 2.
Belay that! These are our allies. For now.
Right. So is Syntax all fixed up to the ship now?
There! All done! Now
We leave right now.
Excellent! To Baccanoa! What the? What did you pack? Rocks?
Just brought a few potion materials to be on the safe side. And some lab equipment and safety equipment and...
Bah! Whatever! You're lucky I overcompensated for how heavy you lot are fourfold!
Rude assessment of our weight aside.
Engage!
As you wish, sir. Battle analysis complete. Sensors confirm a code black compatibility of 91%.
Brilliant! Then I'm heading straight for the power core!
You mean you know how to get there? Right. Of course not.
Murga to trap us again.
Right.
Murga to trap us again.
Right.
Cyclone!
gets in my way!
Spread out! Let's not allow Murga to trap us again.
Right. Cyclone! Right.
gets in my way!
Is everyone okay?
Roger, roger.
I am unable to contact Serpentine or Mila.
Sorry. I was just unpacking my things.
You do realize the urgency of our situation, correct?
Chill out, scary lady. Some of us need a pick-me-up.
Fine, but be quick.